Hello, welcome to the Daily English News program on Azərbaycan Televiziya with the most important events of the day. I'm Gülar Gocayeva. President İlham Aliyev signed an executive order on measures regarding capital repair of the road of local importance in Qazax region. According to the order, 2,200,000 manats was allocated to Azərbaycan Avtomobil Yolları State Agency for capital repair of Y3506 fevralın road in Qazax region. President İlham Aliyev signed another executive order on measures regarding capital repair of Qobu Üstü, Yuxarı Nemətabad, Xacılar, Aşağı Nemətabad, Yenikent, Qəribli Road in Ağdaş region. According to the executive order, 16,400,000 manats were allocated to Azərbaycan Avtomobil Yolları State Agency for the construction of this highway connecting 7 residential settlements with 6,000 inhabitants. Recent decree signed by President İlham Aliyev set a goal for the Economic Council in the next 10 years to achieve a double growth in the economy of Azerbaijan. Chairman of the Committee on Economic Policy, Industry and Entrepreneurship, Tahir Mirkishili, informed about this at the meeting of the Parliamentary Committee on Economic Policy, Industry and Entrepreneurship. 8 issues were considered at the meeting. First of all, the draft laws on the state duty, on entrepreneurial activity, on civil service, on unemployment insurance, and on the state budget for 2020 were discussed in the first reading. Manufactured products of Made in Azerbaijan brand and Azerbaijan's economic potential were presented at the International Fair for Trade and Services in Beijing. Azerbaijan's investment, climate, transport, transit and tourism potential, industrial parks as well as services provided by Baku International Sea Trade Port Closed Joint Stock Company, Azpromo, Azerbaijan Airlines Closed Joint Stock Company, Silkway West Airlines and Sokar Foster Wheeler Engineering LLC were demonstrated on the single stand of the country and regional pavilion of the exhibition. Moreover, testing of wines and pomegranate juices produced under the Made in Azerbaijan brand was organized at the local stand. These products aroused great interest among the exhibitors and talks were held with potential customers on the import of Azerbaijani products to China. In this project, which is one of the 3 largest exhibitions in China during the year, a total of 18,000 companies from around the world demonstrated their products and services. This is the 2nd consecutive participation of Azerbaijan in the exhibition. The number of people infected with the new coronavirus in the world has reached 28,060,000. The pandemic has put an end to the life of more than 908 million people. The highest number of daily infections per country during the pandemic has been identified in India again. In Georgia, the rise of infections was observed in recent days. The spread of the virus has accelerated in 2 other countries of the American continent.
Another anti-record has been set in India, which ranks 2nd in the world for coronavirus infections. In one day, more than 97,000 people were diagnosed with coronavirus. It is also the highest daily infection rate in a country since the beginning of the pandemic. In the last 24 hours, more than 1,000 people have died from the infection. The highest daily death toll was in the United States. 1,162 people died from the disease. COVID-19 was detected in more than 32,000 people. In Brazil, the number of infections and death rates had doubled compared to the previous day. More than 35,000 people had been diagnosed with COVID-19. 1,075 coronavirus patients died. In Mexico, the death toll from the virus had risen again. The disease put an end to the life of 611 people yesterday. More than 4,600 people tested positive for COVID-19. For several days now, the number of infections has exceeded more than 7,000 in another Latin American country, Colombia. The number of people who died of COVID-19 in one day exceeded 200 people. In another country in the region, Argentina, the spread of the disease is accelerating. In the last 24 hours, more than 12,000 people tested positive for coronavirus. So far, the number of people infected with the virus exceeded 512,000. The disease has put an end to life of more than 250 Argentines a day. The epicenter of the pandemic in the country is the province of Buenos Aires. As for Europe, the highest number of infections on the continent is in Spain. Yesterday, COVID-19 was revealed in 8,866 people in the country. In France, the rate of infection remains high. This is the 3rd time in the last 6 days that more than 8,000 1,577 people have been diagnosed with the coronavirus. Yesterday, the fact of 664 new infections was registered in Austria, which is the highest daily rate since the end of March. The capital, Vienna, accounts for more than half of all infections. Infection has been on the rise in Georgia in recent days. The highest daily infection rate during the pandemic was registered over the past day. 57 people were diagnosed with coronavirus. Prime Minister Georgi Gakharia said at a government meeting that, as expected, the second wave is already beginning in Georgia. The pace of the pandemic in Russia, especially the number of deaths from the virus, has not decreased. Over the past day, more than 5,663 people were infected with COVID-19 and 128 people died from the virus.
142 cases of the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 150 people recovered and were released home. One citizen tested positive for the COVID-19 virus died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 37,874 with 35,269 recoveries and 556 deaths. The number of active infections is 2,049. To detect new infection cases, 988,268 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan so far. The task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.